So I found that developing a network of just smart people around me has been really, really helpful in talking through problems and looking at things and gathering different perspectives. And I think gathering different perspectives is the key to really being successful in business. I'm a managing director and CTO at Moving Image. Moving Image is an enterprise video platform. We provide really a suite of video services to major companies, mostly focused in the DACH region, but we are expanding a bit. Me, myself, I'm one of those old school tech guys. Started out programming as a child and never really stopped. Although I do spend more time on administration these days and a little bit less programming, but those are the trade-offs you make. Nice to be here.
Nice. Thank you very much. So you joined Moving Image about 2 years ago. Was it with a specific set of priorities, a mandate? How did you jump into your shoes of Moving Image?
At Moving Image, it was really a bit of a turnaround. There was a big management change. The pandemic was sort of changing the way people work and the way things happen. Video was on the ascendant, and I came in and it was firstly reorganize the team, reorganize the processes, reorganize the technology. And now we're at the happy phase of, okay, let's launch some new products, let's move forward. So it was first kind of get the ship, in good running order, and then put the sails up and sail quickly.
So traditional scale-up challenges of stability, reliability, maybe in the tech stack, some
Exactly
legacy.
that. It's the pandemic came, and video was the thing that everybody needed and everybody wanted. But coming from sort of a startup, the systems weren't really designed for that sort of explosive growth. We had a product that saw multiple year 300+% growth, and there are some scaling challenges there. So that was the key focus.
So when you enter a CTO role with this in mind, this turnaround objective, there's obviously a lot of different priorities you have to juggle with. You have the teams, the people, the tech, the stakeholders, the business, the customers.
Mhm.
So any recipe you use to have your teams behind you engaged and somehow help them get out of the hole, so to speak?
Uh,
Um,
the most important part really is to give every member of the team a voice and to listen to that voice. There was so much knowledge and wisdom in the organization already, and it wasn't my job to come in and tell everybody, this is what you're going to do. We're going to change everything. It was, hey, where are we? What's going on? What are your ideas for things that we need to take care of? And very quickly, we came up with a prioritized list of what the team perceived as the biggest challenges. And I added a few of my items to that list, and together we came up with, okay, these are the things we're going to do first, and while we work on these, we'll figure the rest out. And that worked out pretty well.
okay, so the strategy of one step at a time. When you're in a hole, stop digging, and then one step at a time. But
Hmm.
everybody agrees to the step. That's really interesting. As part of that, usually, I'm sure you have found that the diverse teams tend to adopt diverse technologies, diverse frameworks, diverse subcultures, and sometimes the empowerment of the DevOps teams can turn into also creating a bit of a zoo of a landscape. So, how do you see that, and how do you see the role of standardization? What are those kind of golden rules you like to impress on teams so that they perform better and faster?
On the one hand, I like to give the team maximum freedom to do things their way with the tools that they are comfortable with. In an organization the size of Moving Image, however, we were extremely scattered. We had um, multiple backend technologies, multiple front end technologies within every project. So it was just all over the map. And when we wanted to refocus resources, it wasn't really easy because the skill sets were also all over the map. So we came up with basically a simple system. We looked at what we had and we said, okay, let's simplify a bit. Instead of having three front-end technologies, let's choose one. And so the method that we used to do that wasn't that I come in and say, hey, this is what we're going to use. It's as a team, let's come up with the best technology that suits all of our needs. The best fit for moving image rather than the best fit for this team, this team, this team, and let's focus on that. And by doing this and iterating on this process again and again, we were able to greatly simplify our tech stack, which led to just huge improvements in efficiency, stability. We could move people, allow people to switch teams and do different things, switch projects. The items that I brought to the list were a mix of different things. I had some customer conversations and I learned, some of their pain points. Did a bit of a security assessment and saw that there was a gap that we needed to fix. And using my experience, I helped to prioritize the list that we created. Now, one of the items that I put on the list did end up at the very top, so there was a bit of a decision there. But in general, most of my items got prioritized at the same level and in the same process. Everybody has a voice that we used to prioritize all of the items, and it was really effective. The team owned this list, and they owned every item on it. Each person was tasked with bringing the three most important items, from their view, things that we needed to jump on right away. And then each person was tasked with defending someone else's idea as being the most important. And you saw people really believing it and getting into it. And we had these great discussions. It wasn't about whose idea it was. It was about, hey, what's the most important thing for the business? How can we move fastest? What are the biggest threats? Where are the biggest fires burning? We should fight those first. It was a lot of work. We had a lot of workshops, but it was effective. And we very, very quickly realized, okay, these are like the 3 or 4 big things. We need to do this first. And once we solved those, it just sort of the process kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And at this point, we don't even use that list anymore. We took the few remaining items and we said, hey, this doesn't even make any sense. Let's just put them in the regular team's backlogs and deal with them then. All the big fish we've caught already.
In order to align teams to allow those discussions to take place, they need to work from a shared reality as well. Mm-hmm. And so I'll touch just simply about observability and your use of observability. Was it part of this transparency objective, or what were the key drivers for you to have observability as part of that list of things to do?
So going in, we were blind. We had no monitoring. We had no alerting. We had a couple of open source tools in some corners that people hadn't really, put a whole lot of effort into maintaining. So we just didn't. We were blind. We didn't have any information. We didn't know what we were working on, and that's where New Relic came in. I brought on board our head of dev SecOps. And it's a great guy, Frank Dornberger. He's really smart, and he's got lots of experience with New Relic. He used to work for New Relic, and I said, Frank, we need observability. We need to know what is going on with our entire stack. And he said, challenge accepted, and we got all the teams involved in it, and the outcome has been great. Not only have we massively reduced the number of incidents we have by over 90%, we also cut costs by about 50%. And that's despite having, pretty big growth from a customer perspective. So, we've got more people using the systems, but it only costs half as much as when we started. So we've gotten real results out of our efforts, working with New Relic. And to be fair, New Relic has been very supportive and very helpful to us doing that. So it's been It's been more of a cooperation than it has been sort of a client provider relationship. Moving Image had attempted on several occasions to build internally or to modify existing open source tools. And the mentality was, well, it's free, so let's use the free one, and then we'll spend 10,000 developer hours tweaking it to our needs. And I look at this and I say, well, 10,000 developer hours, that's clearly not free. In addition, there's a massive opportunity cost, and this thing's not going to work for 6 months or a year anyway, so you get none of the value and all of the cost. I'm not against open source solutions where they make sense, but if you're trying to solve a complex problem that requires something more than a open source off the shelf kind of solution, I would rather my development teams focus on our core business rather than building tools that you can just buy off the shelf or a SaaS model or whatever.
How do you stay trained? How do you stay on top of your game? Do you have specific people, role models that you love to admire and get inspired from? Do you have podcasts? How do you stay on top?
So I'm not one of those people that follows Elon Musk's Twitter or is reading all of the wisdom of a Bill Gates or something. I'm not saying that there's not value in that. I find speaking to people, building a network of people, not just tech people, but just interesting people, and talking to them regularly and bouncing ideas off each other. Smart people tend to have smart insights, regardless of whatever their field is. Maybe they're involved in dentistry or they're a psychology professor or whatever. They have sort of a different viewpoint on the world than you do, but they're smart people. So you can bring a tech problem to them, which to them isn't a tech problem, it's a problem. And you can discuss it with them and they'll give you some insights and they'll provide that feedback.
What you mentioned, Ryan, and I could really feel it, is that when you focus and think a lot about the people, right? Empowering them, making them accountable for their decisions, coming to work together. So any final thoughts about how to keep high-tech engineering teams engaged, motivated, willing to stay with you? What makes a difference?
I think the way to engage with people, and it's not just tech people, but people in general, is to be real. Be honest with them. Don't just be a robot. I go to work and we do this and focus. Like, have some hobbies, have some fun, do some interesting things. Listen to the people, create a space where their ideas push you forward rather than trying to pull everyone forward. And listen to what they say and help them achieve their goals. The key to having a great team is to have a happy team. And if you have a happy team, they will do great things. You just kind of need to get out of the way and they will keep going. They will keep going. At Moving Image, we've been really, really successful at creating an open, trusting, friendly type culture. We do good work. That's, it's not that we're only having fun, but we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Right. Thank you very much, Ryan. That was really insightful, and I really like the pragma, the leadership, setting direction, letting people have an open space to perform and be happy. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thank you too, Greg, and wonderful talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.